Hello everyone, welcome to yet another session of with NSS Mumbai. Today we are here to have one of a kind event with Mr. Ravi Nair sir. Mr. Ravi Nair is an associate member of USIIC which facilitates US India Team, CEO and founder of Rich Minds Club, and director and board member of World Game Changers. Mr. Ravi Nair is an alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow, and a master engineer for neuro-linguistic programming. He has won numerous awards throughout his long career, some of which are Benjamin Franklin Award, Guinness Book World Record holder for successfully completing an ultra hill marathon. His maiden song, Mind Body Affair, won the bronze medal at the Global Music Awards. His book, Weekend Miracle, is an Amazon bestseller. Along with Mr. Ravi Nair, we also have our mentor, Dr. Ravi Mark Sahayam. He's our chief mentor at NSS Mumbai. As a shuttle and ISS team member, he was instrumental in launching over 100 plus space shuttle missions, launching 700 plus astronauts to space, including first Indian woman Kalpana Chawla twice. In 1996, he was awarded NASA's prestigious Silver Snoopy Astronaut Award for exceptional engineering and innovation on the space shuttle. We also have Mr. Arvind Jati, who is president of Baswa Samiti and son of former Honorable Vice President of India, Shri B.D. Jati. And we also have Mr. Srinivas Nalore, who is the country's most prolific engineers, who along with his team at GVK built the landmark T2 International Terminal, which is a globally acclaimed project. So I would like to welcome all of our guests and our today's honorable speaker, Mr. Ravi Nair. Sir, thank you so much for joining all of us, and over to you for the session.
Thank you, Priyank. Thank you. So, guys, welcome. Good evening to all of you. So, I'll start with the question. So, we're going to have a lot of fun today, a lot of interaction. It's not going to be that I'll speak. Okay, so we both are going to speak. So, I'm going to ask you to post your chats in between. And if 1 second. Just a second. Then. Just a second, everybody. Just give me a second. Okay. So, a question for all of you. How many of you want to master the art of influencing and building rapport with people? Quick. A quick yes in the chat box. I'm going to look at all the chats. Allowed to do that. A quick yes. So I see yes from Adish. I see yes from Shweta, Vedang, Krishna Prasad. Hi Krishna, how are you? Salim, hi Salim, Vinunath, Ahana. Thank you. Yes. Fantastic. So there are a lot of people who want to know about this skill. Huh? Good. Okay. So I'm going to look on both my screens. The chat comes on the right side. So if you see me turning on the right, that's because I want to see your chat. Okay. So in this session, we are going to first, let me just raise my screen a bit. we're going to first understand the neurological levels of thinking. Okay. And uh, the first 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to listen to some psychological terms and words. Don't bother about it because I'm going to simplify it so much that you're going to love it in the end. Okay. So don't bother about the first 10-15 part. I'm going to use some psychological terms. Okay. But it's only to make your life easy. So this whole session is divided into three parts. Okay. The first part is about understanding rapport. Okay. The second part is going to understand the psychological structure on which rapport is built. Now, first thing, let's understand something. Why is rapport and influencing very important? Now, you can use it in multiple fields. Suppose you're meeting somebody for the first time. Suppose you're trying to connect with somebody very senior on LinkedIn, on social media, just trying to connect with that person. So there is a strategy you can use to connect, right? Because most of the senior folks out there will not accept your connection so fast. So how do you connect with them? Right? And these are the challenges which you will face initially as a student, as you're growing up in life in your career. This is one of the big challenges you'll face. Once you're established, once you're stable, then people will accept your connections, would love to bond with you. But that is always a challenge, connecting with people, right? So the second part, I'm going to explain something, the psychological structure of how to establish rapport with people. Now, this is the most important part and it would be around 15 to 20 minutes max. But if you get this part, trust me, you become a master at rapport building. And that is the third part, which is how to master the rapport building and influencing technique. But like I said, if you get part two, then part three becomes absolutely easy for you. Okay. So shall we start? A quick yes from everybody. Let's start. Just type LS in the chat box. LS. Let's start. Oh, I see Vedang, the first guy to type LS. Krishna Prasad says LS. Yes, please. Super. Fantastic. So let's start. As you guys want. So somebody just quickly type, anybody, all of you can, what is rapport? What do you understand by rapport? Anything, and let me tell this to everybody. There is no right and wrong. Okay. Uh, we are all learning, we are all going to share. Okay. So what do you understand by rapport? Tell me. You can type some answers. Relationship. Says creating a relationship. Fine. Communication or exchange of ideas. Sweta, thanks. Good. Ajay says reaction, understanding, connection, energy. First impression, Vedang says good. Okay, good. And like I said, no right, no wrong answers. In the end, you'll see all the answers which you're given till now will make a lot of sense. Okay, but let me give you a perspective. Okay, now for a moment, I want you to go back in time, in a memory. Now we have online sessions, but before we used to have classroom sessions. So this kind of workshop used to happen in a classroom, right? Now I want to imagine this situation that you have joined this workshop in a live classroom where people are going to attend the session live. Now you're entering the classroom and you find some people already seated in one corner. The people are coming early, right? Now, if you think about this, sometimes you'll go and sit with them for some reason because you feel some kind of resemblance, some connection with them. Sometimes you feel that, oh, I don't know, they look different. They're talking different. So you go and sit separately, or you sometimes go and sit alone. Why do we do this? Now, actually, everybody who's coming to the workshop are strangers, right? But why do we do that? Why do we sit away from them or sit with them? Because we feel some rapport connection because of the way they are dressed, because they may look similar to you, right? The language even they're talking. Like suppose you're from southern India, or you're from France, or you're from Africa, wherever. You suddenly hear two people talking in this common language which resonates with you. So you go and sit with them, right? Now let's look at another example. Suppose you had a childhood friend uh, and you were good. Okay, so Now you're able to see the audience, right, on the screen. People sitting
Yes.
on chair. Right,
Yeah.
perfect. So sometimes you feel like sitting with people. Sometimes you don't. You know why? That the reason is we sometimes feel some sort of connection with people because of the way they're dressed, because of the way they're talking to each other, something like that, right? And are you able to see two boys on the screen?
Yeah. Now the screen is perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Chalo, ठीक है. In case you don't see this, just call out Prathamesh. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll leave that to you. So let's look at another example. Suppose you have a friend of yours with whom you grew up till the age of 18. Okay, and as you were growing up, you used to have share common foods. You know, you used to like having same kind of food, right? You used to like to listen to same kind of music, right? And used to play the same sport like football or whatever. Just an example. Okay. Now, suppose after the age of 18, your friend moves abroad. He goes to the US for further studies and he spends around 5, 6 years there in the US. And then he comes back. He tells you that, oh, I'm coming back and let's catch up. You're super excited. Then you know, my friend is coming back. And you meet up. And now what happens? Right? You you both meet up. Now you're around 25 years of age. You tell him, let's catch up at this restaurant or whatever. And he says, no, yeah, I don't like that restaurant, because his taste has changed now. Right? He's been living in the US and he's eating different type of food or whatever. Now you tell him, let's go to a place to listen to some good traditional Indian music. But probably he started listening to some American music. So he says, no, I don't want to go to that place, because my taste has changed. I like to listen to pop or maybe whatever. Then you talk to me about football. But in US, they don't, football is not that popular. So he starts talking about baseball. Then I don't like football. Now, slowly, if you notice what is happening is the rapport starts falling apart because there are no common things in between us. Right? So that's a many times when you meet somebody after a long time, we say, oh, this guy's changed so much here. Because there's no rapport between us. Right? Because there's no resemblance between us. Make sense to everybody? What that means is people like people who are like themselves or whom they want to be like. Like, for example, um, many of you might want to be like Ravi. He's in NASA, he's a global ambassador there. So you aspire to be there, right? So he is somebody whom you want to be like tomorrow. So you'll build a rapport with him, right? Or you'll build rapport with people who are exactly like you. Make sense to everybody? Just type a quick yes on the chat. Thanks, guys. So what that further means is anybody who shows resistance with you is doing it because of lack of rapport. So if you're not able to get along with somebody, it is not because of anything else, but it is just absence of rapport. Sometimes we go into that mindset, oh, maybe he's acting smart, maybe he's doing this, whatever. He's thinking too high about himself, whatever. Well, that's not the case. Most times it is only because of absence of rapport. And the reason I'm saying this is if you understand this, you will be able to actually build a relationship with a lot of people in your life, right? So, and this person could be anybody. It could be a boss, your client, or anybody in your life. Maybe your future life partner, right? So if you're not able to get along well, you're not able to build a relationship, it's purely because of lack of rapport. And the reason I'm saying this again and again is because you're going to learn how to build rapport, right? So what does rapport mean? If you see on the screen, it is written very clearly. Reality is all people prefer others to resemble themselves. Read this very carefully. Reality is all people prefer others to resemble themselves. Right? So rapport and also rapport need not be about materialistic things like same food, same places, same language, same location. Okay. It can also be because of non-materialistic things. For example, um, suppose you're a dog lover. Okay, you're walking in a park and you see somebody with a dog and he's an absolute stranger. Suddenly you go up to the person and ask what breed is it, this, that, you start chatting with a stranger. You instantly build rapport because of the love for your dog. Right? You both share the same feeling for a dog. So it need not be necessary that we should dress alike or we should eat alike. Right? It could be also for common things. Right? So what it also means is when whatever you're giving or receiving in a relationship does not exist, then the rapport starts falling apart. For example, like talk about husband, wife, mother, son, or two friends. Suppose I'm contributing to your life by motivating you, inspiring you, as a moral support to you. The day that contribution stops, my rapport with you or your rapport with me will start falling apart. Like, for example, classic example, most of you might not personally know Ravi. Of course, he travels, he meets everybody, but a lot of new students coming up might have just heard of him, right? They don't know him personally at all. There will be many students in India. But Ravi keeps contributing to your life in terms of lectures, talking to you about NASA, here, that, or that. So people are getting a lot of things from him, because of which that rapport will continue. And not necessarily, it is also possible they will never meet in their life, but the rapport will still be there between Ravi or, for the matter, anybody like Ravi at NASA who are in the role of a mentor right now. Right now, we go to step 2, which is the psychology behind rapport building, and this is the interesting part, which will take 15-20 minutes. But once you get this, let me tell you, you'll become master. Okay. So there's a gentleman called Gregory Bateson. You can write down the name also, or I'll be sending this slide to Prathamesh. He'll circulate to everybody. All those who are registered via email will get a copy of this. He was an anthropologist who developed a model which was called as the logical evolution of species. So what he said was, as human beings, we evolve. So if you look at yourself, you have evolved in terms of the way you eat, the way you speak, the choice of vacations, beliefs over the last 5 years. You also evolve every year, and you also evolve every month and every day. But since the evolvement is so small that you are not able to notice it, right? So his work was further taken forward by Robert Dills, okay, who came up with somewhat equivalent model, and which he said was logical levels of thinking, and later he added the word neuro. Right, this is big science, which someday we'll cover. But the reason I gave you these names is the science of rapport building evolved over a period of time, and people have worked on it. Very important, and psychologists like Gregory and Robert actually worked on this entire theory. So there's a science behind this. It's just not like, you just go and build rapport. Once you know the science, which has evolved over a period of 100 years, you'll become a master at it. So that is what you're going to learn now. Okay. So what he said is the change in thinking, spreads across 6 different levels. So we human beings, we operate at 6 different levels. And I'm going to show you that 6 different levels now. And uh, once you know this, it's very simple. But once you know the structure, you'll know exactly how to build rapport or influence anybody using this 6 different levels. That is the charm of this entire system. Okay. Everybody getting it till now? Just a quick yes, if you don't mind. Okay. I'm not going to take names, but I can see a lot of yes coming in. So I'm just going to thank everybody for that. Okay, let's go to the first one. Okay. Now, if you see on the screen, everybody, Prathamesh, just confirm. You can see environment at the bottom and the full screen.
Yes, you can.
Perfect. So I'm going to show you the 6 levels of thinking, how we evolve in terms of as a human being. And once you understand this, you'll be able to master the entire rapport building and influencing process. Okay. Now, when I say environment, that is at the bottom. We talk about people, place, and clothes. Okay. Uh, Now let's take the same example which I said before. You enter a live workshop where there are 50, 100 people who are supposed to join. Okay, and you're very formally dressed. You know, you're like up to the mark with tie and suit, blazer, and all that, right? And you see 4 or 5 people who are in jeans, t-shirt, somebody in shorts, and all that. What happens? You don't generally go and sit with them because the clothes don't match. And like I said, now each of these levels of thinking has an emotion attached to it. Remember that, very important, right? Now there is certain emotion attached to that the dress which you're wearing. Okay, so you will not go and sit with those guys. Similarly, if you are well dressed and you're sitting, some guy who comes very informally dressed will probably not come and sit with you. The rapport doesn't match there, you see, because the clothes don't match, right? Now let's take the example to the next level. Let's suppose you are formally dressed and you happen to sit with one of the boys, like the group who are totally informally dressed. And since the session has not started, you ask one of the guys, where are you from? And one guy says, oh, I am from US, I'm from UK, or he says, I'm from Mumbai, Kolkata. Suddenly, place, common place. Suppose you belong to the city, you say, oh, you're from Mumbai. Okay, where from Mumbai? Suddenly, rapport. Now the clothes don't matter, see, the place matters, right? And uh, now suppose I ask you, where were you working? And you say, I was like, I was with NASA. Just an example. And I say, oh, even I was with NASA, right? Now you say, we talk commonly about one common boss, Ravi Margasan. And you say, oh, you was my boss. I used to report to Mr. Marga. I say, oh, even I worked under him. People, common people, connection. Do you realize why do we take a reference when you go for meetings? When you go somewhere, why do you ask for reference? If you know somebody knows somebody, we say, can you please tell him that? No. Because that builds instant rapport. I don't have to waste time building rapport. People, place, and close build instant rapport. Everybody getting a quick yes? That is why it is said that when you go for meetings or any occasion, dress properly. Because if you're not well dressed, it's nothing to show off. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. It's nothing to show off. Purely because if you're not well dressed, if you end up being underdressed, you will not be able to build up a rapport with the person on the other side. Right? So if he ends up being formally dressed, then you might not be able to build a rapport. Right? Let's go to the next one. Behavior. Right? Now, as we go up the ladder, there's 6 ladders which you'll see. And you might right now be wondering, how will this help you build rapport? Just hold on for 15 minutes. When you come to the slide of the magic of building rapport, then you say, wow, this is like amazing. Right? And as I speak in between, I'm going to take a gulp of water, don't mind. So what you'll see on the screen now is there is an arrow, yellow arrow, which goes on top, and there's an yellow arrow which is coming down on the left and right side, right? What it means is sometimes to get a certain behavior, you will seek a certain environment, right? And sometimes to seek a certain environment, you will indulge in certain behavior, right? Now, for example, I'll give you I'll give you a comprehensive example as you go forward so that you can connect everything together. Okay, but just keep this in mind. The next level is behavior, and because of to get a certain behavior, you normally will seek an environment, right? Like for example, if suppose you want calmness, you want to have a calm behavior, like you go to ideally you look for a temple or a library or some other place where you feel get the calmness. So to get a certain behavior, you'll go you seek a certain environment. Now look at the behavior of smoking or drinking, indulging in certain something like that. You will seek an environment which is like an restaurant or bar, or if you have to smoke, people seek an environment. They go all the way down to the lobby to smoke. Right. The third one is let's move further. It's a capability. Now when you indulge in a certain certain behavior, you get a certain capability. Now, remember this, when I say capability, it doesn't mean engineer, doctor, or anything like that. Okay. We also develop a lot of capabilities like being calm, being grounded, like being creative. These are all capabilities, right? Now let's look at hypothetical situation. Um, let's suppose you are sitting with your boss in a meeting room, okay, and your super boss comes in. You have a very closed door meeting, you, your boss, and your super boss. Now, the super boss says, I want a strategy to double our sales in the next 3 months. And I'm going to give you half an hour to come back to me with the strategy. And the super boss leaves the room. Okay. Now you are looking at your boss. Oh my God. So you no clue, right? And your boss says, don't worry, man. We'll see, we'll work out something. Right? So he says, you just come with me. So he goes down. Okay. He goes to his desk, takes a packet of cigarette. And he goes down to the lobby and you follow him because he's your boss. Anyway, you're depending on him to make the strategy. He stands there, he smokes. He suddenly starts getting some ideas. He starts talking to you. Then you finish one or two smoke, then he comes up. He comes up and you sit in the meeting. Suddenly he comes up with some strategy. And the super boss is impressed. He said, wow, what a strategy. Right? Now what has happened here is, I'm going to take one more level up. Okay. Beliefs. You saw, you ask your boss, how did you get the strategy? And your boss says, you know what? Whenever I smoke, I get creative here. When my brain starts working, I get brilliant. That's how I get ideas. So based on that conversation, you got a belief that when you smoke, you get creative, which is low on values. You're compromising on your values, but still you're okay. Because why? Now see the joke. Because you started believing it, that smoking makes you creative. To get the capability of being creative, you also started indulging in the behavior of smoking. And to indulge in the behavior of smoking, you started seeking an environment. That means you also started going to the lobby or wherever the smoking area is. Now you see how this works. See the arrows on the right side. Your beliefs about getting certain capability leads to a certain behavior. The behavior leads to environment, right? And similarly, if you move this side, what you'll see is the environment. What are the environment leads to a certain behavior. So whenever you go there, you will feel like smoking. That smoking gives you capability of being creative. And that creativity is your belief, feeds into your belief that yes, I'm creative. Everybody's getting it till now, quick, yes. I'm just going to look at the screen. If anybody has a solid question, just hold on, write it down. I'll answer it in the end. Don't mind, okay? Makes sense to everybody, right? Till now. I'm somehow not able to, sometime between the chat message disappear, don't worry, but I'm looking at the screen. So okay. So now let's move a bit to the next level. Now I'll give you another example here of a friend of mine. It just struck me. So this friend of mine, interesting thing. We used to go for a lot of conferences, exhibitions, for networking. Pretty early in my days. I do that even now also very often. So this guy was fantastic. I should see him coming for the conferences with me or sessions like this, live sessions. And while I used to go and meet people, exchange my visiting cards and all that, this guy will not do that. He will not do that. He'll wait till the end. Okay. In the end, when the bar opens up, he'll have a couple of drinks, and then he was like a bulldozer. He'll go around meeting everybody, hugging everybody, shaking hands, everything. And over a period of time, what I saw was I used to see him only at events where there is a cocktail and dinner. If there's no cocktail and dinner, he'll not attend that workshop only. Not that he'll not workshop that seminar only, or whatever that event was. So what happened was he got a belief, right? And if you take it a bit further up now, is the identity. What is the identity? That alcohol makes me extrovert. Identity is extrovert. Now, because of that identity is fed into by the belief. What is the belief? When I drink, I get it makes me an extrovert, right? And to maintain that belief, that he gets a capability of being extrovert, right? And indulges in a behavior which is drinking alcohol, and it leads him to an environment. What is the environment? Visit only events which have cocktails. Now you can correlate this to a lot of things in your life. Any habits you have right now, any good or bad habits you have right now. Okay, I'm coming to the rapport part. Like I said, don't worry. There is something which is given you certain identity now, because of you, which is formed because of certain belief, and it feeds into capability, behavior, environment. Okay. Now, finally, the top of the ladder, purpose. Your identity feeds into the purpose. Now, let's look at the example of this person, this boss who smokes. Okay. Suppose you ask him the purpose of doing it. Or you ask him, why are you working, sir? Why do you work so hard? He says, because I want to feed my family. I want to give a good life to my family. Right. Now, with this identity, which is uh, like being a creative boss, okay, or a smart boss, whatever it is, he's able to fulfill his purpose, higher purpose of taking care of his family. Now, because of that identity, which is coming from the belief that if I smoke, I get creative. And if I get creative, I'm a creative boss. And that is giving you promotions and everything. He's never going to quit smoking. You see why it is difficult for people to give up bad habits? Because that bad habit feeds into some purpose by default. Right? And that is why I always tell people, create your own purpose in life, because your mind will hijack somebody else's purpose. Let me give you an example. Suppose Prathamesh is going to the gym. Okay. And I see Prathamesh going to the gym and working out. Okay. And I see that girls are adoring him. Oh, Prathamesh, what body and what. Now, Prathamesh's purpose is going to the gym is not to impress girls. He is very clear. His purpose is to stay fit for his whole life. Right? But what will my mind do? I'll assume that his purpose is to impress girls. I'll hijack that purpose and I'll start believing that if I go to the gym and if I start working out, I can impress girls. Now see what happens. It is such a weak purpose in life. See, you might go to the gym, but what happens, when your purpose is not strong in life, which is not power, which is not a higher purpose, very strong and powerful, it will die. For example, I go to the gym for 10, 15 days, 1 month. Somebody will come and tell me, oh, Ravi, you look nice. Your body acha, mast ho gaya. My purpose is fulfilled. Now I'll quit gym. Now, most of you think about it. Anything you're starting in your life right now, why are you not able to finish it? Because of the purpose. You're studying something because you saw someone studying and he's going, like, for example, um, tomorrow Prathamesh might go to the US, study there, settle down NASA. And somebody might look at Prathamesh and say, oh, I want to study, get into this particular field because Prathamesh is in the US. I also want to go to the US. Now, I'm not saying right, wrong with that purpose. I'm saying it's such a weak purpose. But if you create a purpose that I study, I'll get into this field and I'll create something for this world. Create something amazing for this world. I'll be able to create something which can tell when earthquakes are going to happen. We already have the systems. But if you have that kind of purpose, amazing. So this is out of topic. Because purpose is so close to me, so I just spoke to you about it. Identify your purpose, and if you have a weaker purpose, change it and create a higher purpose. Right? It makes sense to everybody till now. I'll ask the question now, but before that, let me ask you this question. Now look at a soldier. Now look at all this six structure, and we look at a soldier. All the soldiers in an army, in army, you'll find, of course, they have the conflicts and internal arguments and whatever they have, but still, the rapport is the highest level there. Now, everybody in the army is coming from a different background. Okay, they're all different cultures, religions, belief, right? They're all different people here. So Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Sikh, Jain, this, that, everybody, right? But they have the highest level of rapport and coordination. And let's look at all the levels. Let's look at the environment. People, place, and clothes. They're all in uniform. Did you realize why many big companies have uniform system? Because that builds rapport among people. So I don't bother with wearing a suit. This I just wear a normal T-shirt or whatever that organization gives me. It helps to build rapport. That is why you have uniforms, right? Place. They all are kept in the same place for training and all that, right? So they are in the same place. Look at the uh, uh, what is the behavior? They are all trained level is so high. They will never violate their level of discipline. They respect the hierarchy, their boss, whatever it is. Discipline. Right? Look at their capabilities. They all trained to combat. Right? The common capabilities. All of them. At least, I mean, of course, one might be stronger than the other might whatever it is. But the whole idea is similar capabilities. Right? Now look at the beliefs and values. We are at the fourth down. Okay. They share a common belief that we are born to serve the country. And that is why they ride on very high values. So when you I saw my friend Vinod Kamath joining in between. I mean, when you interact with him, he's somebody who writes on so high values because his father was a brigadier. So the values slow down, and among themselves, the values are very high, right? So that is why in any organization, when they have to recruit an army, ex-army, they're open to do it very easily because they come with very high values and beliefs, right? Next level is identity. What is identity? What does a soldier think himself about himself? He is son of the soil. He is a guardian of the motherland. That is his identity. He doesn't see himself as anything else. He is a guardian of the motherland. And everybody shares the same identity. All the people in the military. And that is why there's so much of there's never a clash of identities in the military. Of course, there will be at certain levels, very few, but mostly there is no such problems out there because the identity is clear. And now look at the purpose. Common purpose among all the soldiers. Serve the country. They are bound by the purpose. That is why even if they have differences in between, wherever they might have fight or argument, because of the purpose they are always connected. Serve the country. Right? Now, if you see something on the screen, you'll see that the purpose and the identity is highlighted in red. You know why? Because if you connect with anybody at the purpose and the identity level, that is the most powerful connection we'll make. And now we're getting into the actual strategy of building rapport influence. But just keep these two things in mind, purpose and identity. They're the highest level. And if you connect with somebody on that level, you are amazing. Right? Everybody got it till now. We're going to enter the third phase, the strategy, which you're going to love. So I want everybody to write a quick yes, please. And while I look at your screen, I'm going to have a glass, I'm in a sip of water. Perfect. Thank you. I'm making you type, but don't mind, please. It motivates me. Okay. So now let's see how the rapport building works. Okay. Now, on the left, you will see the 6 levels of thinking. The bottom is environment, next behavior, capabilities, beliefs, values, identity, and purpose. Okay. And now let's understand how the rapport building works. Okay. Now, think of some people in your life with whom you are connected, with whom you have a rapport purely because of environment, behavior, capabilities, environment. Pure. So let's start with environment. Okay. Think of some people. Immediate connection which comes to your mind is your office colleagues. Because you're working in the same office, environment, people. You're working with the same people every day. You're wearing the same type of clothes, whatever you wear. If you're IT sector, you wear t-shirts, t-shirts, casual. If you're in the sales, you'll be wearing formal clothes or whatever. But you can get connected to a lot of people because of the people, place, and clothes. Right? Now, also think about this. Each of these level comes with emotions. Okay, they are connected to emotions. That is very important to understand that. What happens on the weekend? Why do you feel relaxed? Can somebody answer? Why do you feel relaxed on the weekends? Okay, let me answer that. Okay, let me answer that. Okay, because all these three changes on the weekend, you will be different people. You're spending with the time with your friends. You're in your home. You're not going to the office. Your clothes are different. You're wearing shorts, t-shirts, or whatever it is. Right. So emotion changes because the environment changes on the weekend. Right. Now, let's look at the rapport part. Okay, interesting part. Now, suppose you meet somebody new for the first time. Right. Like I said, the moment you give a reference to somebody, that's the initial rapport, immediate rapport. Like you say, I know Mr. So and so. You say, oh, okay, okay, you know him, fine, fantastic. Or if you're wearing the same type of clothes, like maybe formal, informal, whatever it is, right? And so environment is a basic level of rapport, the lowest level of rapport. Okay, it starts from there, right? The next is behavior. Okay, now behavior has three aspects, couple of aspects actually. First is the tonality of the person, right? So always remember when you meet somebody, just keep a watch on the tonality of the person. For example, uh, let's talk about Sachin Tendulkar. Now, how does Sachin speak? Hey, how are you, man? Hey, all well, na? I'm sorry, I'm just imitating Sachin, but he has a very subtle tone, no, very soft tone. Now, if you're talking to Sachin and you have a very hoarse voice and you're dominating voice, you're going to break that up. He's not going to like it. He's not going to be comfortable. And you yourself must have experienced this. When you have a particular tone of voice and somebody who has a totally different tone of voice comes and start talking to you, you get disturbed. The rapport is broken, right? The second way of building rapport in behavior is recreating words. Okay, I'll tell you, show you how. Like suppose somebody comes and tell you that Prathamesh, you know what, I'm facing this big problem and it's a big headache here. So you recreate that sentence. I'll tell you how. Don't say the exact words. So you could say, "Oh, I got it. I think what you're trying to tell me is you have problems with this particular project, right?" When you recreate the same line, the person on the other end feels that you understand him. A rapport is built instantly, right? Rather than telling him, "Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that?" Okay. First, recreate that sentence with that person. So when somebody comes to like anything, like oh, I have major problem with my wife here. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving an example to all of you. Okay. Now, suppose you say that, and and if you are listening to me, you say what how you can recreate is, oh Ravi, I got it. You have some problems with your wife. Okay. Now suddenly I feel nice because I feel that you understood my problem. Okay. Most times what do we do? तेरा ही mistake रहेगा. You are like this only. No, you are pretty. You don't understand only. No? Or some people even worse. अरे everybody's wife is like this only. यार. छोड़ दो. Now, what have you done here actually? Maybe give him some comfort or whatever you're trying to do. But you're not solved anything for me. Right? If you want to coach somebody, first recreate it. That's an amazing strategy which works. Like I do it with my daughter sometimes. She comes and says, Dad, I'm fed up of this. So I said, okay, I got it. That you're fed up of something. No problem. I think you'll overcome it. Now, when I say you'll overcome it, she believes me because first I started recreating her problem. So she thinks that, oh, okay, my papa, my dad understands that I have a problem. Right? The third is body language. Now, body language has two components to it. One is the breathing part. Now, breathing, you got to be an expert to watch somebody breathe closely. Watch how he breathes. There are three different levels of breathing. Some people are like, they breathe very fast when they talk, right? And if you match that pace of breathing, like like somebody's talking, like a lot of people might say, this is what I did, this is what I did. The breathing is very high, right? So that is a technique which takes some time to uh, practice, but then if you work on it, you can get it. Okay? But interesting, I'm going to the next part, matching and mirroring. Now I want all of you to go on Google afterwards, not now, not now, not now, not now. Go afterwards and research about matching and mirroring. Now, this is an amazing technique for building rapport. I'm telling you, you'll find some amazing videos out there. I'll also try to send a link. Just type on YouTube. You'll find there's an exercise which are done in London and how they match and mirror somebody and hypnotize somebody. But you don't have to go to that extra. What matching and mirroring means is, like suppose Pratham is sitting right now and sitting and talking to me like this. Now, uh, matching him, when I'm matching him, I'll keep my left like this and talk. I'm matching him. I'm not mirroring him. Okay. Because when I'm mirroring him, what will do if he's kept his left hand, I also keep my right hand. His left and my right. Then I'll be mirror image. Remember this. And like I said, just go on Google afterward to research about it. I'm going to show you some fantastic images now in some time. This is called as matching and mirroring. And the world's topmost leaders use this technique. And I'm going to show you something interesting. Look at this. Whom do you see in the picture? President Obama. Right? And look at the body language now. How he's sitting, look at his fingers interlocked. Right? And this is done instantly to build rapport. Matching and mirroring is a very, very powerful technique to build rapport and influence people. I've done it. I've done it amazingly with certain people. And there's nothing wrong with it. We're trying to build rapport. Try to understand something. There's nothing wrong. We're not cheating anybody. We're not manipulating anybody. Please try to get this right. We are just trying to save time on building rapport because we need to do business. Right? So the faster we build rapport, good for all of us. Right? And of course, we'll all do a due diligence of the person. But the instant rapport is always a problem. You're not able to go to the next level until the time you influence, till the time you build that rapport. See one more. I'll show you one more photograph. Kate Middleton and Prince Williams. One more again. Obama with the British. And see, look at the body language. Right now, this is called as matching. Both the right legs are on the left leg. Right. And look at the hands, hand position. Right, he's exactly trying to match it. Okay, makes sense. If I found it interesting, just type interesting, all of you, so that I know that you're liking it. Thank you, guys. Everybody's able to see the screen. No? Prathamesh, no problem with the screen, right?
Yeah, no problem with the screen.
Perfect. So let's move to the next one, the third one, capabilities. Okay, how to build rapport based on capabilities. Now, capabilities, again, I said, need not be only technical skills or other skills. It can be even like somebody being calm and composed. I put it on the screen. IT skills, painting. So if I know if I'm going to meet somebody and I come to know that this person loves to paint, and like I said, never fake it. I'm going to then show you that never fake rapport building. Never go and tell lies. Like if suppose somebody is paint, you know somebody is fond of painting, you say, oh, you know what, even I paint, and he'll start asking you what exactly do you use, what colors do you use, and then you'll be caught. Don't do all that kind of stuff. Of course, you can talk about painting. You can say that I recently visited somewhere. If you are done, and it's our research on painting properly. Do some hard work and say that okay, I saw this painting, I really loved it, and I read something about this painting. That will get that person interested. Right? Capabilities. Right? So we're talking about sports, golf. Like if you know the person knows to play golf, right? You can talk about golf if you know about golf. Don't fake it again. Like I met somebody some time back, and I knew he was a golfer. So when I met him, you know what I told him? I said, I always wanted to learn this game, but I don't know. I mean, I could never do it, and I found it it's difficult to understand it. And then guess what the guy did? He started explaining me golf. Rapport was built. Now I didn't have the capability, but I tapped on his capability. And people love to talk about the capabilities, right? So you tap on that capability, right? And similarly, somebody knows that calm and compose, like talk about meditation. Like for example, if generally also think about it, it's so fantastic. If you find somebody calm and composed, that is a capability, right? And you tell him, sir, how can you be so calm and composed? We have done that in the past, no, unknowingly. But think about it if you use it consciously. He start telling you, you know what, I do meditation in the morning, I do yoga in the morning, this, that, whatever. Rapport is built. Important. Right? Makes sense to everybody. Now to the next level, beliefs, values, right? So beliefs are can can get you instant rapport or this with anybody. Right? For example, religion. Like the moment we come to know that you're a typical Marwadi or Gujarati or a Jain or a Hindu or Christian, whatever. Instantly there's a click. Belief. Because I believe in my religion. I believe in my religion. Right? So you got to be very careful here also. Like I had this 7 8 years back. I remember this example very clearly in my mind. I was taking one of my sales guys for a meeting. We just going to meet a client, and the client was Jain. They don't touch non-veg, and they have a belief that eating non-veg is sin and all that. And this guy, we walked in for the meeting, and the first conversation he had with that guy was saying that talking about a party. So he's trying to build rapport. By saying that yesterday we had a family function at home, and in that he forgot that he's a Jain, and he said, and sir, what non-veg here? We ordered from Delhi Darbar, and a fantastic non-veg, beautiful. And I could see the frown on that guy's face. He's absolutely unhappy because he had a belief that you cannot eat non-veg. It's sin. It's not right to do it. So what happened? Break and rapport. Of course, we build a rapport afterwards, but the starting was not good because straight away you didn't start from bottom. Straight away you can start from anywhere, and I'm going to come to that. But you directly challenge his belief. Okay, and he's not going to like it. Right? Similarly, similarly, there is something called a civic beliefs. Like some people, I don't, I will never be like, for example, I will never break a traffic signal. Doesn't matter. So I always reach my destination half an hour early. Most times, right? Because I will not break traffic signal. So if you come to meet me and suppose you are late, this has happened with someone. He came to meet me and he got late by 20 25 minutes and he came and all he had to do is he did call me and tell me that he's getting late. So no problem. And I didn't have a commitment after that. But the first thing comes and tells me is, sir, you know what? I got late, heavy traffic. You know what? Just to make sure I come for the meeting on time, I broke a traffic signal also. Now, that is not something which is acceptable. You got late, you apologize for that, that's fine. But breaking a traffic relay doesn't fit into my beliefs, my civic belief. You cannot do that, right? Of course, since I know the structure and how people, I made him understand. Okay, but you got to be careful. Sometimes you might think that it is you trying to uh, just sell a story to him or convince that person, like make look good, but that may not work for you, right? So sometimes you do something wrong to build a rapport, but it might be against his belief system. That will put you into problem, right? So that was about this. Now let's go to identity. Right? Again, identity is all coming from beliefs. So I'm a staunch Hindu, I'm a Christian, this, that, whatever. Right? Like for example, we meet somebody and we have this new thing in India, a Bhakt. Modi's believers, Modi's followers or whatever are called as Bhakts. Now, uh, suppose you go in front, sit in front of somebody who for some reason loves Modi, whatever it is. We are not getting into politics here. And you start discussing some current affairs and you say, these stupid bucks, how they are. Now that guy is not going to like it because somewhere he also has an identity that I'm a buck, I'm a follower of Modi. And you sit there in front of him, make a statement like that. Or for that matter, even Rahul Gandhi. Suppose somebody loves Rahul Gandhi. and you sit in front of him and make a statement. Somebody saying that, oh, what a joker he is, something like that. I'm just saying. I don't mean to say he's a joker or something. He's not good. That guy on the other side not going to like it because he has some identity, right? That I'm a staunch congressman. I'm a staunch BJP, whatever it is. I'm a strong what RSS or whatever. Right now, these are all identities. Like for example, I have one identity. Like I run. I do a lot of marathons. I love to run. So I have in the back of my mind, I'm a marathoner. I'm a marathoner. So suppose you come to meet me and you're meeting for me for the first time, and suppose you see if you see my social media coverage, you'll see me running here, there, marathons and all that. So all you have to do is come and talk to me and said, so I'm glad to meet a marathoner like you. Instead, you connected to my identity. I would ask you, do you run? You might, if you're not running, you might say, no, sir, I just walk and all that. But you straight away connected to my identity, one of my identities. A marathon. Oh, okay. Right. So I love to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about that marathon now, 100%. So the rapport is built. Right. And there are a lot of fitness freak. Like some people you see, I'm a fitness freak. I get up at 5, I do this, I do that. No problem. So if I look at the social media, if I'm meeting for the first time, I said, I love the way you're so disciplined here. You, because his identity is I'm a fitness freak. Now he might not say it to everybody, but he's there in the back of his mind somewhere. Right? Finally, the purpose. Like I said, the top two are red. Anytime you're able to connect on identity and purpose level, that will be instant if you're able to connect. So I'll give you an example. Uh, I put it on the screen for you guys. Uh, this client of mine, I used to meet this 1.5 years back story. So he was in Hyderabad, and I used to. He is an MD of a company, managing director of a company. So I've referred by somebody first of all, but you are not able to meet. So every time you should send a mail, he'll say, Ravi, I'm so sorry, I'm traveling to Hyderabad. Talk to my PA. So I used to ask his PA, personal assistant, when can I meeting? So every time, next week he's going to Hyderabad, he's coming back from Hyderabad, going to Hyderabad, coming back from Hyderabad. So one day I asked his PA, what does he do in Hyderabad? He said, Ravi, we just set up a new plant in Hyderabad and there's a lot of work, a lot of mess, labor issues and all that. So he's very busy. I said, oh, okay. So guess what I did? I just wrote an email to him saying that, boss, we have an office in Hyderabad and I have a staffing company also. And I told him, uh, I am already serving two companies whom I am providing staffing, right? Similar to yours. And I think if knowing that you're setting up a factory in Hyderabad, I can help you. I connected to his purpose. His purpose of going to Hyderabad was what? To set up his factory. And he is facing labor problems. I straight away connected to this purpose. I didn't know anything about identity, belief, capability, behavior, and nothing. I didn't know anything. I straight away connected at his purpose. He immediately wrote me an email back. Till date, he had not responded to me emails. He just sent me WhatsApp. He said, Ravi, let's catch up soon. I'm coming back this Friday. Can we meet up in the evening? Instant rapport. Because I connected to him on his purpose level. Makes sense to everybody? Just type a quick yes, all of you. Then I can have a sip of water and I can see those. A lot of yes, sir, please. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now, very important. I have it here. So this is how it goes. You have these 6 levels. The lowest is environment, like people, place, clothes. Second is behavior. The third is capabilities and when to connect. Purpose is strongest. If you see the red line going through, so the purpose is the strongest, but purpose takes time. So see, you see the length. It's not easy, but if you're able to do it fast, environment is very easy. The box is very small. See, behavior is even bigger, but the purpose is the biggest. So it takes time, but if you focus on the purpose, that relationship will be amazing. Right now, interesting part. You don't have to follow this sequence. You can connect with somebody at any of these levels. Environment, behavior, capability. Somebody, sometimes, you know, you meet somebody, suppose you meet somebody at the airport, right? And he's doing some coding and all that, sitting in there. And if I'm a techie, I might just go and say, oh, what are you working on? He might say Java. Connect. Capability. I'm a Java developer, he's a Java developer, whatever it is, we're connected now. I didn't think about environment, behavior, anything. Straight away capabilities. So when you look at people whom you have to connect with, you could connect at any level. Don't bother about, if you don't know the purpose, identity, forget it. Whatever level you want to pick up first comes to your mind, start connecting. It doesn't matter any. But of course, purpose is the strongest, purpose and identity. Rest are also good, but and it helps to build up. So don't think that, oh, I should only connect on purpose or identity. No. If you get an opportunity to talk about like an environment through reference, do that first. Then you might find, then you might come to know about his capabilities. Then you can connect on capabilities and stuff like that. Now, very important. Do not fake to build rapport. Right? So while you're doing this, some of you must have got ideas. We can use this to fake rapports. Don't do that. I'll tell you why now. Okay. Never ever fake to build rapport. Okay. So let's look at a rapport in a relationship. We'll have another 5 or 10 minutes max. So please bear with me. And then we can ask questions. Okay. Let's look at a relationship. Like a lot of young crowd here, right? So I will talk about dating. So a couple, they're dating right now. Okay. So what happens when a young boy and girl are dating? Let's look at the first level. The boy will take the girl to posh restaurants. Okay. Take her to buy a new dress. People place clothes, right? And he started doing all that kind of things to build rapport with that girl. Right? Initial days, dating days, right? What is the behavior? Very, very good. Oh, baby, darling, Shona, and all that, you know. Very good, nice behavior, excellent behavior. Originally, it's not like that, huh? But now he's faking to build rapport with that girl. Because Patane ka hai, bhai. And it might be genuine. I'm not saying that he's trying to fake it. Generally, he must be liking her, but he's doing all these activities which are fake. Right? Now look at the capabilities. What capabilities the boy show? Excellent memory. You remember her birthday, father's birthday, her dog's birthday, her cat's birthday, her frog's birthday, her crow's birthday also. Capability, excellent memory now. Right? Some boys are smiling, eh? Some karke ho experience. Then beliefs. Now, what is the belief the boy has? He believes that the girl wants something like this. She wants an ideal and perfect boy like this. That everything is perfect. That is his belief. That is why he's doing all that. So his belief is leading him to do all this. Right? If you see the arrow, remember that arrow which I showed you. What is the identity he's trying to go for? Ideal boyfriend. I'm an ideal boyfriend or husband of tomorrow, future. Right? What is his purpose? To get an ideal wife. So he sees that this girl could be ideal for me tomorrow. Or maybe an housewife also. I'll tell you why I said this word. So, so this is how what he does when he fakes a identity. Now I'm going to show you what happens when you do it. Everybody got it till now. A quick yes for me. I think just I'll ask you to do that 2 more times. That's it. Then you should be done. Quick yes. Let's move to the next slide. Now let's see what goes wrong. Now let's assume they got married, right? Now wife says, let's go to the restaurant. Wife, husband says, अरे why spend money यार? रोज स्विगी विगी चला के रखा है. कुछ बनाओ, make something at home. Huh? Every day spending money. Now the real thing is coming out, right? Now what happened at that first level? Rapport is broken now. Now see how the relationship. See if you build rapport on fake, it will start disintegrating over a period of time. Be very careful about it, right? So now no restaurants, no posh restaurant, no posh hotels. Environment level pe rapport is getting broken now slowly. Okay. Now let's go to the next level. behavior. No goody goody shona phona and all that. See the state name. And what do you want? Coffee bana yaar. Sab दूंगा यार. Chai bana yaar. My friends are coming, cook yaar. All that because that behavior was to fakely created to create a rapport, right? It's not working now. Right? Capabilities. Forget father, mother, frog. You forgotten her birthday also. वो भी भूल गया. And you remember after 2 days. When somebody, some friend told you, अरे तेरा wife का birthday था. Oh, अच्छा, oh my god. Right? Capabilities. That is also gone. Now, belief. Now, if beliefs get shattered. यार मैं सोचा था क्या निकला वैसा वैसे we hear the statements from people ना when they I thought he's like this all the film stars movie stars 3 months में divorce शादी हो गया 3 months divorce why because before that they were faking rapport I knew everything we are connected we are strong rapport with us it will fall and that's what all these movie stars happen with all these movie stars and a lot of other people also but in the case of movie stars it is much higher because they have a lot of money. So they splurge to show that, oh, I know exactly what you want. I can take you for a vacation on a isolated mountain, all that. After that, he alone goes to mountain and meditates there. But fed up of marriage. Identity, the ideal boyfriend or the husband. The wife says, what ideal? He's not even close to ideal. And the same, the husband start thinking, right? Finally, purpose. Like suppose a girl had married a boy thinking the purpose is she's looking for a companion and a friend so that she can pursue her career. Right? Now suppose she gets into family and the family says you have to quit your job. Her purpose of marriage was not that. She was expecting something else, some purpose, something else beyond a relationship, physical relationship. But that purpose is not being met. Now many times you will see I was coaching a friend some 5-6 months back. Not a friend, it's a client. They're going through divorce. Okay. Environment, behavior, capabilities, belief, identity, everything gone for a toss. They had a child. I saved their marriage based on that one purpose. Purpose was child. Other all identity they don't match at all. But I kept the purpose of the child throughout. And for the child, keeping that child in purpose, like I said, if your purpose is connected, if all the levels below fail, still the rapport will be on. The relationship will work because the purpose is there. And once the purpose is connected, slowly, you can build up the others also. Like in this couple's case, what I did was I showed them the purpose, made them connected to the purpose of the child. Right. After that, I said, how about changing some of your behaviors? So the husband had the habit that every day he'll come home have 2-3 pigs, whatever. We altered some behavior, some capabilities here, there, but slowly. Other levels of rapport also started. Right. And then finally they crashed up. They didn't go for a divorce. So it is simple thing, science which you all can use with your friends also at home. Like you have arguments with your friend and all that. Understand where the rapport is breaking. Simple. So maybe you don't like the movies which he likes or she likes, right? Or you don't like to with a dress or eat. Like many couples you see they argue or fighting food, eating also. No, I don't want to go to that restaurant. They fight. What you to understand is simple. Okay, let's go to the restaurant. You order what you want. I'll order what I want. Why to fight? Because that one thing can create a clash. Right? Makes sense to everybody. So I just posted my name and my email ID and my WhatsApp number. Anybody wants to just drop me a message or email, whatever it is, you can always do that. I'll wait for 10-15 seconds, then I'll stop the sharing. Then I'll come to the main screen where we can all chat, talk, whatever. If the session is over officially, that's what I wanted to tell you. But you can write down my name number in case you wish if you want to. Meanwhile, I'll shift my camera so that I can look at you guys and talk to you when I'm talking to you. Okay. And I'll also put it on the chat. So
So do you want me to unmute all of them?
Or given anybody wants to talk and unmute and call me.
Okay, I will just give them permission to unmute.
Ah. Hi Kamal, nice to see you. Hi Rajesh. Thanks Adesh. And we have all those who are registered via the email. You'll get. I'll just send you the slides of the 6 levels. Anytime you want to build a rapport with anybody, just all you have to do is look at the 6 levels. Sorry, my camera was off. Just look at the 6 levels of rapport.
Yeah. Participants can unmute themselves if you want to talk to sir directly. Please raise your hand and go one by one.
Thanks, Vishal. I got your comment. Thanks, Venkat. So, any doubt you have, you can ask me.
There is a question I see.
How long you like to see? Keep seeing my face. Achha, 1 second, man. Let's go to the Q&A. Have you come across some questions?
Yeah, there is a question by Ajit Nair.
Ajit has a question. Which is the most difficult part? Most difficult part is always purpose and identity. Purpose and identity will always take a toll on you because you got to be very careful to finding out the real purpose of the person. Like I said, let's look at this purpose in a different way. Somebody joining your organization, Ajit, and you try to motivate and inspire him. But you know what? His purpose of joining the organization might only be to pay his EMIs. He's not interested in the growth of the organization or his growth. He might have a lot of debts. So his purpose of joining the organization is how to clear my debts, how to pay my EMI. So when you talk about growing in the organization and all that, it doesn't interest him. He's just asking you one question: by 30th will I get my salary or not? My purpose is that. So the purpose level is very important because it's all happening in your mind. People don't generally come to know your purpose. For example, I'll give you this: 3 people in working in an organization. Okay, classic example. The purpose of one person is uh, because others are working, so I should work. The purpose of the second person is I want to pay my family expenses, like EMIs and all. The purpose of the third person is I want to grow in this organization. I want to grow this organization. I have to grow myself. All 3 people join the same time with 3 different purposes. Now, guess why one person is growing outstandingly? The other 2 are not growing because the purpose is very different. He wants the organization to grow. He wants himself to grow. That is why he is growing exponentially, while the other 2 will sit and curse him all the time, not realizing that they have set low purpose for themselves. So even for students out here, why are you studying? What is the purpose of studying? If you say set a purpose that I want to go to the US, not bad, but it is not a great purpose. Like like Ravi is there with guiding, mentoring all of you. His purpose is not a job or living in the US. His purpose is to create something amazing. Use his brain to serve humanity, and that is why you could sustain for so long. Other there's so much of competition in NASA. Zafira asks, is there any tips to build rapport with a grumpy authoritative figure? One thing you should do, Zafira, is have sympathy for such people. Don't get scared of such people. Have sympathy. He needs sympathy. You need not be scared of him. Why do people behave grumpy? Because उसको problem है अंदर से. Do you behave grumpy, Zafira? No. Just think about that. Why don't you behave grumpy? Because you don't have any problem from one side. You're fine. he's behaving because he has some problem. It could be family problems. It could be a lot of other things. So you have to sympathize him. Don't stop him. It is like, you have a stomach ache, Zafira, and I tell you, अरे बंद करिए यार complain करने. अरे you have a problem. Your stomach is paining. So I can tell you not to complain. You will complain. I'll try to find you. I'll try to give different solutions. So many time, and second thing is, when you sympathize, what happens? We start complaining. Like suppose somebody is there, one of my friends is feeling sick, his stomach is paining or whatever. If I keep telling, "Arey yaar, what a man, yaar, सुबह से complain कर रहा है यार." Now slowly, I also started becoming grumpy now. But if I say, "Yeah, he has a problem, he'll solve it," right? So sympathize with such people, and they'll come out of it. And another thing, Zafira, why people are grumpy is, I always tell this, uh, actually, this session is officially over, but anybody, we're just discussing nice things, something which can come out. So anybody who has something pressing or something very urgent can always quit. Okay. So Zafira, I'll request all the audience after this session, you just write down 5 shoots of your life. I'll just type it here. 5 shoots of. Now, when I say 5 shoots, what that means is my wife should listen to me, my daughter should listen to me, my people should write sir when they write email to me. Everybody has shoots. Huh? My daughter should sleep by 9 o'clock. Should. So write down 5 shoots of your life on a piece of paper. Okay. Now write it and keep it on the side and think about the constitution of our country. India's constitution. What does the constitution say? The constitution says that if you don't follow certain shoots, what will happen? What will happen if you don't respect the national flag? Somebody answer quickly. What will happen if you don't respect the national flag? Quickly. Could you believe me? You know what will happen? No? What will happen if you break the traffic signals?
Probably called as traitor.
Called a traitor. They'll put you in prison or they'll penalize you. Either of the two.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't follow the shoots, Priyal says a case. Yeah, they could file a case on you, right? So if you don't follow the shoots of the government, they'll put you in jail or put you behind bars or penalize you, right? Now, this is exactly what happens with the shoots in your life. When you have shoots in your life, suppose you have shoots like my daughter should score 90%. My daughter should study every day 10 hours. When she doesn't do that, you put that child in a mental jail. So it was Afreen who was asking that question, right, about your grumpy boss. Don't mind me, I could not register the name fast. So your grumpy boss had a lot of shoots in his life. And we all do that. And when you don't follow my shoot, I put you in my mental jail. And I become grumpy because you know why? I put you in my mental jail, but you're moving around smiling and laughing. And you're not supposed to do that when you're in jail, no? So I get mentally upset. So, Arfin, your boss, 100%, he has a lot of shoots in his life. And when people don't follow the shoots, he put them in the mental jail and starts getting grumpy. And that is how the grumpiness starts. Grumpy principles, Zafira. So these people have a lot of shoots in their life. So like, for example, my child should be very disciplined, which is good. But once in a while, if she breaks the discipline, chalta hai. But if there is should, no, I'll put in my jail. Oh, I told her not to do this. Still she has done it. Now I became grumpy. You see? To look at all the shoots in your life, which is actually causing you problems. जो जो जरूरत नहीं है उसको छोड़ दो. Throw it out. Like, I knew one CEO was fantastic guy, but he had some problems with certain people in this team. And you won't believe the problem. Those people did not write dear sir. So he used to And one of his should was people should address me as sir, because he was coming from the old school of thoughts. And these guys were young MBA guys, and they worked in multinationals before, and they were used to people calling people with the first name. Because where they worked in the multinational, they always call with the first name. And this traditional boss was not used to that. And he said, if they are not calling me dear sir, that means they are disrespecting me. So every time they call him by the first name, he used to be grumpy. He used to get so angry and excited, overexcited.
I have a question. So many of times when I reach out to different speakers, some of them refer to call by their name rather than calling them sir or ma'am or whatever the title they hold. So how do you deal with this cross culture mindset where some people prefer something else and some people prefer something else?
No, in this case, I would say go by the flow, because you know what? If you have a should know that I'll call only by people by the first name. Again, you are the person who will suffer. So flexibility is a game here.
Okay.
Flexibility is a game. So all those people who will thrive in this generation, I will tell you is people who are very flexible and adaptable. So if you want me to call you sir, fine, no problem, sir. I'll call you sir. What is the big deal?
Yeah.
Ultimately, see, always remember, like I said, I'm going to build rapport on where? On purpose. So whenever I interact with somebody, I always think about purpose. Oh, identity, see, sir, and all these are identities. So the moment he tells you, Prathamesh, I think you should call me sir. Fantastic. That means he's telling you, I connected at identity level. Call me sir. Fantastic. The moment you call him sir, you connected with him at identity level. No problem.
Yeah. Any tips that you would give to a new entrepreneurs who are starting to join or starting a new business and are very new to growing up a business and want to grow instant rapport with their employees?
Oh, the first thing is mindset. Start working on your mindset for every entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is another title. But what I tell people is entrepreneurship is a mindset. Okay. It's all about taking risk and stuff like that. So you have to develop that mindset. You have to the mindset to commit a lot of mistakes. You should not develop the mindset to do things right. Because you're not going to do things right. So you have to develop the mindset to do mistakes. जितना mistakes हो रहा है मतलब सही चलो आगे तो बढ़ रहे हो तुम. You're trying something new. So entrepreneurship is always about doing something new. Otherwise, you are an employee. Because an employee का क्या होता है? When you work in an organization, you're told exactly what has to be done. You cannot move, right? But entrepreneurs not like that. You have to keep changing, thinking new ideas, taking risk. So that is the first thing to do as a mindset. And the lowest guy in your team can give you the best advice. The smallest guy in your team can give you the best advice. That is the biggest lesson for any entrepreneur. Because guys who work on the field know a lot of things about your client and competition which you might not know. So if you restrict yourself to not listening to people below you, you're going to miss out on some brilliant ideas. So that is very important for an entrepreneur to even talk to your peon. He might tell you some things about certain people which you might be surprised to know.
Yeah. Priyal has a question. Priyal, go ahead.
I was thinking, first of all, thank you for this amazing session, sir. It was great learning all these things, the 3 steps, and all the sub steps in that. I was thinking, you told us to write 5 shoulds of your life. So, along with 5 shoulds, shouldn't we also have some musts in our life? Like, this is something I must do. Like, that can be joined with purpose if I'm not going on the wrong path. On what you.
So if you should and must are almost the two sides of a mirror, like it's almost the same thing if you see. So only thing I'm saying, there are certain musts and shoulds which we should have in our life. That is fine. But like for example, I should get up every day morning, go for a walk. The day you are not able to go for a walk, you see, you feel guilty the whole day. So what I'm trying to tell you is prepare your mind कि हाँ ठीक है नहीं गया यार, it's okay, एक दिन सो लिया यार, कोई बात नहीं यार, no problem. Don't waste the day thinking about अरे यार I didn't go today, shit, how can I do like this, ऐसा मैं कैसा आगे बढ़ूंगा लाइफ में, अरे don't go so deep. You and most important, like there are a lot of young people on this crowd, so I'll bring this up. Is one question I'll ask all of you, which you might have actually, is how do you manage your thoughts? Have you all wondered this? Ask this question among each other. Hey, how to manage your thoughts here? कैसे आते हैं? How do you manage your thoughts? Because I'll tell you why it is important to know this. Whatever you think every day. For example, let me ask you, Priyan. Priyan, what is your what is your religion?
I'm Jain.
You're Jain. Okay, fantastic. So you as you're growing up, you've been thinking. There is a thought that I am a Jain, right?
Yep.
Now that thought has become a belief. You believe you're a Jain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, based on that belief, can you tell me what do you do as a Jain?
Nothing much, to be honest, because as you talked about
See,
people
religiously,
religiously, I don't
temple,
do.
temple, prayer,
Uh,
prayer.
no, I'm not. I don't have those traits in my life. Like it's, I don't go much to temples and all. But yeah, once in a while we do. But there's one
Once
thing
in
that
a
I
while, right?
always do. That celebrate our festival of Samvatsari. Yeah, that's one thing I do.
Okay. See, doesn't matter how much do what you do, but whatever you believe, you start doing. Remember that. So whatever you think,
Sorry, is it just
I'm just
me?
typing.
Yeah.
No, no, everybody here.
Yeah. No, I thought I wasn't able to hear you because you freeze
No,
in
no.
my screen.
So Priyal, what happens is whatever you think, you start believing. Whatever you believe, you start doing. Like whatever you're doing, even once in a while you go to the temple. Whatever you start doing regularly, and that becomes a habit. Like you just mentioned that there's something you do, which festival that you do without fail.
Samvatsari.
Huh. So that becomes your habit, right? And habits decide your destiny. So if you ask me what decides your destiny, it is your thoughts. The thoughts become belief, belief becomes action, action becomes habit, habit becomes destiny. So now the question is, where does thoughts come from? Any answers, everybody? And this is a very crucial thing. This can change your life.
The
Any
environment
answers?
you're surrounded with.
Environment? Yeah. Anybody can type also. All those who are there on the chat, you can type also. Where do thoughts come from? So now you know one thing. Thoughts create your destiny, right? तो अभी पकड़ना किसको है? Thoughts को पकड़ना बस. So let me give you an example, Priyal. Priyal gets up in the morning. She has a slight stomachache. Hypothetical situation, okay? She thinks that it is normal. Yeah, Gaurang says brain. Salim said overthinking. Yes, yes, exactly. But I'm coming to the exact point. Now, Priyal got a stomachache. She gets up in the morning. She tells her mom, Mama, पेट दुख रहा है यार. Mama gives some homemade tulsi wulsi डाल के she gives her homemade remedy, right? She's still having that pain. By afternoon, Priyal calls up Prathamesh calls up Priyal. ये कैसा है यार? How? So Priyal says, you know what? यार पेट बहुत दुख रहा है यार सुबह से. I had this whatever जड़ी बूटी मम्मी made. So Prathamesh tells Priyank, hypothetical situation. अरे प्रियल टेक इट सीरियसली, मेरे फ्रेंड को हुआ था and it turned out to be cancer. Now second half, Priyal has gone into different mindset, negative mindset. After afternoon, new thoughts, positive thoughts कि हाँ ठीक हो जाएगा. Afternoon के बाद negative thoughts. What influence a thought? Anybody wants to answer?
The person I was talking to.
Perfect. But what was that?
What was that? The relatable situation. There was a rapport that
I type the answer. The answer is information. Be very careful. All your thoughts 24 hours is influenced by information which comes in different forms. For example, Priyanka is preparing for some exam, suppose. Some exam. And some friend calls up, जिसको सब्जेक्ट के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं. ठीक है? Casually you tell that friend that you know what, I'm preparing for this exam here. The friend says, Priyank, मेरे को नहीं लगता तू कर पाएगी. इतना tough है मालूम है तेरे को. I know one of my friends, he failed 5 times here. And he's super brilliant. You know what he did? He passed on information to you without your knowledge. Now that information is going to play havoc with you. Because that thought, that information got translated into thought now. Now that thought is going to bother you. Now, if you keep thinking because of that information that it is difficult, that thought will become belief. Now we start believing that whatever you're studying is difficult. Now that belief is going to become into action. That is, what is the action now? You'll give up studying. यार मुझे नहीं लगता होगा यार. I don't think होगा. Or you'll work harder also. Either of the two. But ultimately lead to destiny. What is that? Either you'll pass or you'll pass with flying. You'll fail or you'll pass with flying colors. So be very careful whom you talk to all of you. Even casual chats. Don't talk to people who don't have any experience in that particular field. Choose your people. So random chats, anything you want to do in your career, talk to the right people. Take some time out. Find the right people. सीधा सीधा पूछने का बंदे को, boss, do you know anything about this? Don't bloody advise me. Because that information which it gives will become thoughts for you. It will become a belief afterwards. So be very careful about information. Anything you access on internet, to chhodi do, to hey, it's flooding you. I'm talking about random conversations. All the major people have lost in life purely because of conversation they have in their life. Like when I was growing up, my parents used to tell me, business तो कभी करने का ही नहीं बाबा, नौकरी, government नौकरी को. And they say with good intentions. Huh? They didn't say with bad intentions. They had good intentions. But I got programmed. I was getting information that doing business is dangerous. Doing business is dangerous. Doing business is dangerous. Then another information they said is, oh, there's nobody in the family doing business. So हम लोग तो कैसा करेंगे business? No chance. We can't do business. It is meant for business family only. Another information which I grew up with, which will happen to you also. Catch any information which is coming your way. Question it. Question the person directly on the face. How do you know? Ask this question. This is a magic word I'm telling all of you. Use these 3 words, 4 words. How do you know? Always ask a question. Even if your parents, they tell you, beta, mujhe lagta nahi, aisa like, and practice it at home. If your parents say, lagta hai, economy item acha nahi hoga. Ask, how do you know, Dada? He'll say, I don't know, yaar, mera dost bol raha tha. So nobody validates information. They just pass it. मेरे को मिला, I'll pass it to you. I'll pass the garbage to you. Okay. Anything else?
Thank you for answering.
No, I stop myself because I have so much of content with me. I can sit till tomorrow morning. Then you will curse me.
Oh, well, we can possibly have a clubhouse session over this thing. People would definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, we plan something. Okay. No questions, then we'll call it a day. I know, and thanks to everybody on a Sunday. You all came. It's so nice of all of you.
I just want to thank Ravi for coming and really, I'm an old dog. You're still teaching me new tricks, so I learned a lot of new tricks. I was texting Pratmesh on the way. I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go to the gym with him." So great, Ravi. It's really mind-opening. just as a conversation. I mean, I don't know where you were 30 years ago. I needed you, man. I was such an introvert and shy, and didn't appreciate what rapport was, or understand how to influence others. I mean, in a good way. Um, I think but as I said, you can still teach old dogs new tricks. So this is good for not only me at 70, but many people like Zafira at maybe 15. I'm so glad to see Zafira. I'm so proud of her. I met her in 2019, and I always talk about her. A great kid, and I'm sure she's going to one day, make NSS proud and India proud. I know that. So,
Yeah,
but
sure, participating. Yeah.
in short, I think these events are very important because uh, not because you know everything and I know everything. I think it's because we talk from experience, and we talk about failures. And I've talked to Prathamesh and NSS about many times that there is such thing as failures, and there is such thing as successful failures. Apollo 13 is one classic example of successful failure. Shackleton's Antarctica expedition is another one. Even Hubble Space Telescope is another successful failure. So I think one of the things I learned from this session, as well as putting my own thoughts, I think getting your self-esteem is very important. Self-esteem very high is important. And the only way to build it is build with rapport, and build with communicating with others, interacting with others, connection with the others. Uh, um, my dad and I had a bet one day, and my dad said, "I have more friends in the world because I've seen 100 countries." And that was much before I joined NASA. And now, one day, Dad brings me my beer and said, "Dad, son, I lost." Why? I said, "Why?" "Because you have more friends in the world because you're NASA." I said, "No, not it's because of NASA. Maybe NASA. I just took a red carpet ride on the NASA, but it's about you. NASA didn't
Yeah,
make
yeah.
me anything. India didn't make me anything. It's your mindset, your own self-esteem, self-confidence, which makes you as a human being, and achieve whatever you want to achieve in life. And yes, I'm an as a person. I'm an American today, but my heart is still Indian. And I think I want people to understand, who are listening, is that you're not competing against anybody. You're competing against your own self. And I tell the story about how I met Tenzing Norgay in 1973 when I was 20 years old in Darjeeling. And he said, "Ravi, don't worry about Mount Everest. It was climbed already. I submitted it in 1953 when you were born. Find your own peak. So I think taking something lessons from your presentation today, you map your own maze. Failure is good. Failure was not an option on Apollo 13, but in your life, my life, failure is an option. And I failed many times in India, and that's how I went to engineering, and that's why I reached the top. Again, you're not competing against everybody; you're competing against yourself. And if you understand that, and build connections, uh, mankind has always done two things good: transport himself from Africa 60,000 or 200,000 years ago, and travel all over the world. Now we are even living and working in space, but also communicated. So these two are most important things, and that's where connections come into picture. And I'm so glad that you came today to guide us and help us, and uh,
Thank you.
uh, build in self-esteem in these students, older people like me, to still that I can be the best in the world in whatever I do. So thank you again.
Hey, thank you, thank you. In fact, I always tell people that just work on personal excellence. You don't have to do anything else. Because I told you some 20 years back, 2025, I heard a quote from Jim Brown, and that stayed with me for my whole till today. And what Jim Brown said is, if you work hard on your job, you will make a living. I typed it also. I sent it. I just put it in the chat. So it was very this for me. If you work hard on your job, you will make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. So you have a choice. So
Yeah, I mean,
you,
I want to tell the audience that when you my viewpoint. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Ravi. Yes, like they say, if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he will eat for life. So fortune, I don't want people to confuse with fortune. Money is not important. Success is not important. What you want to accomplish in life, your purpose in life, you have to define that. That is more important to you. I think we don't want to confuse people. Neither, I try to, when I say some things, I don't want people to confuse that. Success is always the best in the world, but success has, it's a two-edged sword again. So fortune is same thing. Just because you have $1 million doesn't mean anything. But you change million lives, Ravi, which you are doing now. You are changing million lives. That is success to me. That is fortune to me. You are giving everything. Like our Hindu philosophy says, you didn't bring anything into this world and not take anything. I can't even take my NASA T-shirt with me when I go away. So, but if I change the million lives, that is my fortune. That is my legacy.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But very, very good stories. I really appreciate your thought. I'm glad Mr. Sinivas and Mr. Jetty, they all attended it, and we are very grateful to have them on the NSS program. NSS is a great platform for people, and I want everybody to join it and create your own legacy, basically.
Absolutely. Wonderful. We'll do sessions like this. I'm happy to be associated with young, bright minds. It's my pleasure. Any more questions? No, then probably call it a day.
Where is Zafira? Zafira doesn't have any more questions, or she took off. Yeah.
I don't see any more questions, so I suppose we can end up the session today.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ravi Nair. So
good night, everybody. Ravi, thanks for being on the session, and Priyank and everybody. You all were an excellent support today.
We'll meet again. We'll meet again. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.